of that club.
We'll talk about them later. For Bologna, the big star, Sugar Ray Richardson and Clement Johnson, they are the two Americans.
And Ray Richardson is the equivalent of Magic Johnson. He has come a long way in Italy, and he's led them to their first European Cup final.
So they're the Bologna team preparing for what could be the biggest night of their lives. They've been to 2 European finals before and lost both times. Ettore Messina is their coach, and there's the new coach of Real Madrid from America, George Karl.
George Karl, formerly a coach with the Golden State Warriors in the NBA, had 2 very good years with them before he took the year off last year.
So Real Madrid in white, Bologna in black. And Bologna very much the favourites here, despite Real's pedigree, because Real really missing players.
Well, Real Madrid's lost their 4 best players and certainly 2 of their greatest. They quite tragically lost Fernando Martin, who was the backbone of this club, a former Spanish international who died of a car accident just before Christmas. His brother is number 15 out playing, so I'm sure he's carrying the flag for the Martin family.
On offense then, with Laurenti, Anderson. Those are the 2 guards. Anderson, number 5. On the far side there is Frederick. Here's Laurenti. Anderson with the shot.
And there's an out-of-bounds play. I'll tell you, Real Madrid must be a bit tense because playing in Italy is a totally different experience. You've got a very excitable group of people, and you can hear it. You can just hear the atmosphere. You can feel it. Michael Ray Richardson with the ball.
Let's watch out for Richardson, number 9. The shot there going in from Binelli. But a few nerves, as you can imagine, early on. Anderson. Out there to Frederick. Anderson again. But good defense from Bologna. Here's Richardson.
And I'll tell you, the crowd really gets up when he gets the ball.
Shot from Bruno Monti. And it's Laurenti taking it down court. Just trying to settle his team amidst this cauldron of noise. It must be really intimidating playing inside there. Alton, you've played there several times.
Yeah, there's nothing like playing basketball in Italy. It is the most tense, aggressive place to play basketball. The fans really get involved, and there's no other way to describe it than, you know, an active place to be.
First foul on Laro Bon.
There's Martin with his first shot.
And some slack defense from Bologna. So the pressure, not just on the visitors, but on the home side as well. So much expectation here.
One thing Bologna does have in their favor is they've got Clement Johnson, who won an NBA title with Julius Erving. He's also been around the NBA for at least 11 years. And then they've got Michael Ray Richardson, who is far and away probably the best guard in Italy, possibly one of the best guards in Europe.
Laurenti. Frederick. And it just won't go in at the moment. Romay. And a foul call.
A foul there on Clement Johnson, but Fernando Romay is the Spanish national team center. Very aggressive, 7 foot tall. A good player. He's come a long way in the absence of Fernando Martin, we mentioned before.
There's Romay, 29 years old. Silver medalist in the '84 Olympics. Just going away there to compose himself. 2 meters 13 he is. An absolute giant.
And with size 21 feet to match.
But he gets them on their way. So Real Madrid open it up. Binelli. And Bologna take the lead.
And that's one of the benefits the Italians have. They have some very, very good Italian players. The 2 Americans don't just carry the team. The Italians contribute heavily.
Some slack handling early on.
That was good defense by Benelli. He got his hands on the ball and it went off a Real Madrid player. There's Bruno Monte, who's got 200 caps with the Italian national team.
Good hustling from Anderson.
It's very unusual. Historically, Real Madrid has never signed a point guard to play for their teams. They usually sign 2 Americans that are forward and center. But because of the injuries, there's the steal and there's the reach by Bruno Monte. But because of the injuries and the players that have departed, and obviously Petrovic is one of them, they've had to sign someone to shore up the backcourt. Great pass by Anderson to Antonio Martin.
So back in the lead go Real. And here's Sugar Ray Richardson. Beautiful move, and that's why he's such an expensive commodity.
A former NBA All-Star team. He had a few problems, drug problems, which is why he is not in the NBA just now, but boy, can he play.
And that was Frederick putting it in after Martin missed. So Real just keeping their noses in front.
I tell you, Michael Ray Richardson is a great player. If he didn't have his drug problems, he would be an NBA All-Star right now.
Benelli missing out, and here they come again. Frederick well blocked there by Bon.
Well, I mean, there's Benelli who goes up to make a great block. I think Frederick's learning. This is his first European Cup final. But these guys are here to play. Certainly the Italians are going to give them a good run for their money.
Frederick, a 6th-round draft pick from Pepperdine, went to Indiana, then to the CBA last year. So Real extend their lead. And quite a surprise it is too. Bologna red-hot favourites here with the players who had to miss out for Real.
Well, if you add, there's a great, now that's a smart play by Michael Ray Richardson. He gets the young guy in the air, draws the contact, and then he gets 2 foul shots. There it is. Watch his head and shoulders. Draws the contact, gets the 2 shots. That's a veteran player for you.
Yes, in addition to the players we talked about, they're also missing Jose Barukov from the Soviet Union, who's injured for this match, and he's a clinch player as well.
Well, I mean, if you add to that Jose Corbalán, who has been the backbone of Real Madrid for the last 12 years, you've lost basically 4 starters out of a very, very good team, possibly one of the best teams in Europe.
Here comes Anderson. Out there's Laurenti.
And that's a great pass from Anderson, a great lead pass.
So the lead up to 4. Bruno Monte. Laurenti paying him attention and perhaps too close. First foul on him.
And he's one of the holdovers, believe it or not, from the Corbalán Petrovic era, where he didn't get to play very much, and now all of a sudden he's thrust into a starting role.
Richardson.
From downtown Bologna, Richardson hits a 3-pointer.
Magical player. Martin. That was a poor shot from Cargol. But in the end, Martin makes up for it.
A nice touch from 8 feet there for Antonio Martin.
Here's Richardson. Back it goes to Bon. And in it goes.
Nice touch from Bon. Great pass from Michael Ray Richardson. And the one thing you don't want Richardson to do is start to get himself loose in the open floor. He's the most dangerous player in Europe when he does that.
And he's also igniting the crowd again. Here's Laurenti. And 3 more, just when they needed it badly.
And I suspect Jose Luis Llorente, have a look at that. Nice touch, good form. Nothing but the bottom of the net. I suspect he will now take over a leadership role.
Not that time from Richardson. Getting a bit trigger-happy, perhaps. Here's Llorente bursting through on the fast break. Out it goes to Martin, and he should have made more of that.
And a great move by Anderson. Good head and shoulders fake. Great pass from Llorente to start the whole thing. And that used to be Real Madrid style, to get the ball up and down the floor and to tire people out. There it is again. Anderson gets Johnson, who's a bit of a veteran. He should know better than that. Up in the air, and he gets 2 shots.
Michael Anderson, 23 years old. Drafted in the 3rd round by Indiana, then went to the San Antonio Spurs. First year with Real. It's absolute silence when they hit the net.
I'll tell you, that's probably because you can only yell so much in Italy. They can't hear themselves think most of the time down there.
Bon.
Now, there's a good mismatch where Bon is playing away from the basket, and they've got Ramai guarding him. They could take advantage of that. It'd be very good.
And it showed there. Frederick. Blocked out by Benelli and Bon.
And that's good exercise, good judgment, and good movement of the ball from Real Madrid, which got him an easy shot. Timeout, Real Madrid. There it is. Good head and shoulders fake. Didn't look like much of a foul from behind, but they called a foul on Bon.
George Karl looking pretty composed, if you can be amidst all this, but his team are not letting him down at the moment.
He did a very, very good job with Golden State 3 years ago when he led them back to 500 in the playoffs. Did an excellent job with them. And then he happened to be working for a guy named Don Nelson, who happens to have 600 victories as an NBA coach, so he's now in Spain.
So Frederick scores with the foul shot, but not many of them going in at the moment. The lead 3. Here's Richardson. Anderson with him, but no match, but a core pass.
Human highlight film, yeah.
Good action from Anthony Frederick. And they need lifting now. The Real lead up to 5. Richardson looking for Bruno Monti.
Great pass from Michael Ray there. Fouls on Antonio Martin. Bruno Monti does a good job at drawing some contact. Gets the shot up, he'll get 2. But it was a great pass from Michael Ray.
Bruno Monti to the foul line. A lot of foul shots going astray out.
Well, you know, it's a very tense situation. You know, you don't tend to relax until midway through the first half, maybe towards the end of the first half. So people are going to miss some foul shots. It will come back to haunt you, though, at the end of the game. That's usually the difference in a tight game like this, if you make your foul shots.
Real up by 4. Anderson looking for a way through. Out there's Llorente. Maybe he rushed his shot there.
Well, it's good defense by the Italians. Good defense by Bologna. Forced him to take an awkward shot and then went to the boards well, where he fouled going over the back of one of the Bologna players. Good defense. Good rebounding. Look at that. 3 black shirts in there. Good rebounding.
And the crowd picking up on it. They need the momentum to switch their way. By their standards, the crowd have been pretty quiet so far. Perhaps he's the man to ignite them again. Richardson.
You have to remember, they've got a bit of a mismatch with Michael Ray at 6'5" on Llorente, who's 5'11". So I'm sure they're going to try as best they can to make use of that. Great hands by Michael Ray.
And now the mistakes beginning to come from Real. Romboli, the new guard on, the 18-year-old. What an occasion this is for Caldabella as well. Foul on Llorente, his second.
There's Clement Johnson coming back in the game for Gus Benelli. I'll tell you, Clement Johnson will have a big role to play in this game down the stretch.
3 team fouls against Bologna, 2 against Real. Richardson. Couple of fakes, and in it goes. 10 points for him, and now the crowd beginning to react.
And there's Bologna. They've changed to a zone. They're matching up a bit. I think this has got Real Madrid a little bit confused.
Villalobos out to Martin, and it just won't go in at the moment. Caldabella.
Good job by Coach Messina, changing his defensive to confuse Bologna a bit.
Gallinari, 14, is new on, and Richardson. Beautiful floater.
I tell you, he's on fire. For Sugar Ray's prime time right now. He's got the whole world kind of watching him play.
And for the first time in a long time, Bologna in front. And Caldabella seems to be coming into his own now.
There's a foul. Anderson goes strong. There's the first foul. There's another foul. I think they're just getting to know each other.
Villalobos.
Michael Ray has his hands in there again. Good defensive play by the Italians. I think Real Madrid's having a problem trying to solve this Italian defense, which is basically a matchup zone. It's kind of a man-to-man and a bit of a zone, and you know, you just play who's ever in your area.
Richardson from outside again, and again it goes in.
That's from further out than the last one. Great shot by Michael Ray.
Devastating play. Here it is from about a meter outside the three-point line, and they're ahead by 5. Frederick up to 15 points, but it's Richardson really, Alton, who's making all the plays at the moment.
Well, I mean, you know, they signed him because he's ex-NBA, he's an ex-All-Star. He's probably one of the lower-paid guys playing in the Italian First Division. He's only getting $500,000. There are a couple of guys in Rome getting $1 million each, and they've only won kind of 6 games. Great pass and great defense.
Around 6.5 minutes left in the game.
Take a look at this. Great position defense by Caldabella. And Regas, the referee, catches it.
They're on a roll now. 6 points in front. They've overcome the problems at the start, and they seem to have so much more composure.
That's right. I think they've settled into their rhythm now. You've got your home fans kind of very near you. I think this is basically the kind of tempo that Bologna wants.
Lead 8 points. Brunamonti. In it goes to Johnson. And in it goes again. The biggest lead so far. 10 points. And Johnson opens his scoring. Surprising it's taken him so long.
Well, he's doing the nitty-gritty things. He's making people change their shots. He's getting rebounds. He doesn't need to score. He's got Michael Ray out there to do that.
Looks like a foul there on Caldabella. He's got such fast hands, though.
He does indeed. I'll tell you, going back to Michael Ray, I mean, how'd you like to only be earning $500,000 for 9 months' work? Remember, these guys only work 9 months. They get to go home in April, and they get 3.5 months off. Nice work if you can get it, eh, Sam?
It's not bad at all. Especially to come again when you've had such problems as he has.
He has indeed. He's had a long history, and this is kind of a revival for him.
Again, the free shot missed. This time by Antonio Martin.
And there's the coaching hierarchy at Real Madrid. Cliff Luke, who's been there for 12 years, along with George Karl.
Richardson out here to Brunamonti. for Brunamonti.
And he's the national team point guard, the Italian national team point guard.
So the lead up to 12 points now. And from being 4 down, they've really turned on the screw. Cargo. Brunamonti.
Cargo was supposed to be Real Madrid's newest sensation 2 years ago. I don't think he's fulfilled the promise that everyone said he would.
Caldabella. Brunamonti. A rare miss.
Martin gets it out, and this is where Real Madrid is at their best, on the run.
Frederick having a superb game at the moment. It's up to 17 points, but he's not getting a lot of support.
No, he's not. I mean, Anderson's been very, very quiet so far. Take a look at this move, though. Nice hang in the air by the basket. He gets an easy 2. But that's where Real Madrid are at their best, when they get to move the ball up and down the floor.
So Johnson goes off. On comes Benelli. And his stats may not be that good, but he's had a very effective game so far.
That's all that matters. All that matters is that they win the game and he doesn't foul out. He is the center of that team. Things kind of roll around him.
Brunamonti. Out here, Caldabella. Oh, and he found a way through so easily there. Defense was poor.
That's right. I'm surprised the big guy, Romai, wasn't in there to kind of make things happen, but I think you'll find that Bologna's starting to find their way through in penetration. There's Frederick again. He is keeping them in the game single-handedly.
Anderson finds his way through well. And eventually it's Cargo who reduces the deficit to 6 points, 41-35. Just about a minute to go in the first half.
And Real Madrid really need Michael Anderson's penetration to get him back in the game offensively.
Richardson somehow getting past again. Went past Cargo as if he wasn't there.
How about that one now? Left-handed, going to his right behind the backboard. Is he worth his $500,000 tonight?
Martin misses. And it's a bad end to the half for Real. Psychologically, such a good time. And the crowd lifted again. And the defense seems absent. Benelli that time. And now it's 10 points.
And Real Madrid really needs a basket here.
Anderson slowing it down.
Bologna in a 2-3 defense.
Foul on Brunamonti. They have to get points on the board to raise their spirits before they go in at half-time, do Real.
They do indeed. They're struggling a bit right now. I'm sure they're kind of looking at each other since we need somebody to take control. Frederick's carried them for most of the first half, scoring-wise, but defensively, they are porous.
Anderson to the line, and it's not just the point scorers they're missing, the Petrovic's and the Barukovs. It's the experience, isn't it?
It's Fernando Martin, it's, you know, Corbelan, the guys that have been in 10, 11 European Cup finals. That's what they miss right now.
Lead down to 8 with Anderson's 2 free throws. And here's Richardson again, and in it goes again. Phenomenal first half for Sugar Ray Richardson, and there's the buzzer, and there's the reaction from the crowd.
Look at that shot. Long distance, 2 seconds on the clock. How about that one?
And they go in 11 points in front at halftime, 48-37. So, as we get ready for the second half, Real really have a long, long way to go. What do you think they've got to do tactically, Al?
Well, I think they're going to have to change defenses a bit and almost certainly try and make sure they get more inside play from the big fellas, both offensively and defensively. Got to shut down the penetration. And it may be a time to go a boxing one on Mr. Richardson, you know.
Just isolate somebody out to get him all the time.
That's right, and have the other 4 players play in a zone as much as possible.
Foul there on August Benelli. But Ettore Messina will obviously have been telling his troops not to relax, despite the fantastic last few minutes of the first half. Shot in from Frederick. But Bruno Monti calling the play.
Now he's an experienced Italian international, 200 caps. He's been around European Cup finals. He's been at Bologna for many, many years.
Johnson and Benelli, the shot. Johnson picks up the garbage, and it's up to 13 the lead. 50 points to 37.
And I tell you, Clement Johnson doesn't look like he does very much, but that was a big shot.
And Anderson just onto the rim again.
And Real Madrid really just have not solved Bologna's defense at all. They haven't penetrated. They haven't got anything inside. And you can tell they're starting to get a bit exasperated with the way Bologna's playing.
That's one of my shots there, an air shot.
That's right. No, your shots are worse than that. That hit the backboard.
Johnson doesn't look too amused.
He may have been laughing at the fact that we were talking about your shot.
13 points the lead then. And Real just searching for a way through.
See, this isn't the pace that Real Madrid is good at. They need to be moving the ball up and down the floor. This zone is really giving them problems. Nice pass.
That was a poor shot.
Great block, though, by Benelli. And Frederick stayed with it, but I tell you, I don't know if Bologna can play any better than they're playing right now defensively. They're making people change their shots, and certainly Frederick and Ramai haven't even had a sniff inside in the lane.
And Bruno Monti's gone down, and he looks badly injured. I don't think there's any acting going on there.
Take a look. Yeah. Left ankle stepped on the side of someone's foot on the penetration.
And this could be a crucial moment for them. He's been so instrumental in the pattern and pace of the game, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah. He stepped right on Ramai's foot. That's where those size 21s kind of get in your way a bit. There's a lot of foot there to step on.
But that is bad news for Bologna. Just when they looked as if they had the match into utter control.
Well, he's the guy that controls the tempo for them. He played an excellent game so far. But on that penetration, he literally stepped right on the side of Ramai's foot.
14 years in the Italian league, over 200 caps. Just the man with the experience they need when they're just minutes away, maybe, from their first ever major European trophy. So they've got to regroup. And more onus now on Calderbelli, the man with the ball now.
I think you'll find that Michael Ray Richardson will take over from here.
Richardson.
Yeah, he dribbles it off his foot.
Pandemonium there, but as usual, it's Richardson who comes up with the ball. And then slows it down again, realizes there was nothing on.
Smart play by Michael Ray. And this is what two NBA guys will do. They'll get two aside, and they'll score. Very simple basketball there. Throw it into the big fella and let him go to work.
Clement Johnson, 6 points for the lead, the biggest so far in the match. 15 points the lead. And they have to do something, Real, about it very quickly, because the impetus is going away. Foul on Caldebella. His third, so he's got to watch it now. Remember, 5 fouls, and he's out. Yes, with Bruno Monti out, Caldebella has to really take control of himself.
I'll tell you what, Anderson's yet to exert himself in this game either. So really what we need, that's great defense by Bologna. Great defense.
And look at Richardson, really getting the crowd at it.
Well, I said he and Clement Johnson will now start to take charge of the game.
Richardson again. Not this time. Anderson. Here's Martin.
I'll tell you, the Italians have literally just shut Real Madrid down. They cannot get to score in the paint at all. Great defensive job by Bologna.
The foul again, drawn by Caldebella.
And it's getting a bit physical out there. You're starting to see falling bodies everywhere now. Fernando Romay commits his 3rd foul.
Hasn't had a great game so far. There's Caldebella, just lining up the free shots. Just 21 years old, Caldebella. But what a talent he is. And showing quite a lot of composure in what will be the biggest night of his life.
And this is a big moment for a young fella like this, European Cup final. And that's the difference between, you know, the Italians and the Spanish and maybe the rest of Europe. You know, they get an opportunity, their youngsters get a chance to play in big finals like this.
Again, they get the luck, but again, they make use of it. Beautiful hands from Caldebella.
Look at his composure. He's controlling the floor. He's protecting the ball.
Here's Richardson.
And Michael Ray is ready to take over now.
He's having a chat with Anthony Frederick. 3rd foul he's drawn against him.
And that's his 3rd foul. And I mean, Real Madrid's got to be really careful.
And that looks like a foul on Llorente. The foul's coming thick and fast now. You can see he doesn't fancy it much. But that's his 3rd foul.
He's trying to negotiate himself an offensive foul charge against Caldebella.
Richardson, all on his own. Perhaps getting a bit shot happy at the moment. Good hustling from Johnson, but Llorente brings it away. Anderson. But again, the slick move, but it won't go in for him.
Well, they're passing up easy shots to try and get things in the paint. I'm sure George Carl's scratching his head there saying, what have we got to do to score? Anderson must be tired. He's having to guard Michael Ray Richardson and be the leader of the offense, and it's just not happening for him.
It's a pretty tiring game all around, a lot of fast breaking.
Yeah, the tempo is upbeat, but Real Madrid, to be in this game, needs to have an upbeat, up-tempo kind of game. If not, Bologna will just wear them down because they're bigger, they're stronger. You know, they've got more veteran players.
14 points the lead. Just 5 minutes of the 2nd half gone, so still plenty of time, and it just doesn't look as if the signs are there.
Real Madrid's changed defenses. They've gone to a 1-3-1 zone.
From Caldebella, he's up to 12. And the lead, 17. Straight away, back comes Michael Anderson.
7 points for Michael Anderson, but he's got to do that for the rest of the night for it to be close. Caldabella's having a very, very impressive game. Good composure, good leadership.
Richardson finds Bond, who's been pretty quiet last few minutes. Caldabella. Well marked. Good defense that time. Anderson.
Good move.
Look, very nearly a charge, but not given.
No. On the continent, they tend to let that one go.
He's up to 9, and they've just nagged away at that lead. It's down to 13. Caldabella.
It's a lot of time in this game for Real Madrid, but they've really got to kind of suck it up.
And they've got to keep this man quiet, which has been impossible for them so far. Richardson.
Woo, long distance from Michael Ray. That's his first points of the second half, but big three-point play. Great play by Frederick. Real Madrid starting to move the ball now. They're starting to get easy shots. They've got to contain Michael Ray. This is where he can probably take over and change the entire flow of the game.
Caldabella. Here's Richardson from inside the three-pointer. But they're really going in now. Just outside, just inside. They cannot mark him. They cannot defend him.
And Anderson is just too small a player to guard Michael Ray Richardson. You've got to get somebody a bit bigger because he's got such long arms and he's such a good player.
Frederick fields Laurenti. And they thankfully take that one and try and charge themselves up. He's up to 9 points. But it's a daunting task now.
And Bologna showing a bit of fatigue here. If Real Madrid can kind of compose themselves and get a couple of baskets, could be very interesting.
Gallinari. Fantastic. Just over from Frederick. But it went out of bounds, I think.
Went out of bounds off a Bologna player.
Just listen to that crowd.
I'll tell you, if Real Madrid could get a nice little burst here, they get right back in the game.
Martin.
Nice shot. That's what they need to do. They need to get some points in the paint, some easy, simple, basic basketball shots in the paint.
And Messina, the coach, transgressing the halfway line and being sorted out pretty dramatically by the referee. Here's Caldabella, moving this way and that. Martin with the rebound. Where they come. Frederick.
Nice move. Looked like a travel to me there, though, but he got away with it. 21 points for Anthony Frederick. Great move going to his left.
Halfway through the second half. The lead up to 12. And they're finding it impossible to come to terms with him.
He's a very, very difficult guy to guard. He's 6'5". He's got long arms. He's very, very smart with the ball as well. I'm surprised George Karl hasn't devised something else, though, to deal with him. You know, he's post against him in the NBA. Nice shot by Caldabella.
He's up to 14, and that's the lead. 14 points.
Nice pass there by Llorente.
The points from Cargol. He's up to 6. Good defending from Johnson, but not enough.
How's that for a strength shot from a guy 5'11"? Goes straight to the basket and takes on the big fella.
Practically went up vertically as well.
Real Madrid changes defenses again.
Caldabella from outside. Laurenti. Kagol.
Nice shot. That's the young man who's got 9 caps for this Spanish national team.
And now it's looking much better for Real. Suddenly the points becoming easy to obtain, and they're just 8 points back now. If they can maintain this momentum, it still could be theirs. But look at that, what a move there from Laro Bon.
Great running one-handed hook shot.
They're the team fouls, 7 against Bologna, 6 against Real. Kagol with 3 points. And it's just 7 points in it now.
Real Madrid gets a couple of defensive stops in. We've got ourselves a good game. Ooh, big play. Big play by Gallinari. Great tip.
Didn't they need that one?
Real Madrid's got to maintain their defensive concentration and make sure they box out on every play.
The crowd really getting at Real now. They're getting a little frantic. They know there's a game on. Frederick misses that time, and how they would dearly have loved it to have gone in. Richardson just biding his time, making sure now. Look at the control. How about that for a layup?
Great shot. How about that one? Running one hand right down the lane. Great shot. Take a look at this. No backboard, straight through. And again, the interior defense of Real Madrid has kind of let them down.
The lead went down to 7, but so quickly it's gone up to 11 again. And it's desperate times again for Real. Anderson. Good shot. He is strong.
He's a strong kid at 5'11".
Just bounced back there, but still got the shot away and got it away so smoothly.
Good composure, good balance, good ball movement by Bologna. If they continue this, you know, this will be a very, very good win for them.
Just running the clock now. There's Bon.
His foot was out of bounds there. The referees missed that one. His left foot was out of bounds there.
It looked a pretty fanciful shot. It's more like it. That's where they need him, inside. 9 points to him.
He's made some big shots tonight. Great pass.
But a foul on Benelli, and I think that's his 5th foul, and that'll mean he'll leave the game. Yes, it is. Shakes his head, but he's done really well in defense.
That's right. He's had a great game tonight for Bologna. Italian international with 50 caps. And possibly his first European Cup winner's medal.
Yes, they've been to 2 European finals before. In '81, they got to the final of the European Cup, lost by 1 point to Maccabi. And 3 years before that, in the final of this tournament, the Cup Winners' Cup, lost by 2 points to Tensu. Desperately close. But now, at last, it looks as if they're going to do enough.
And it's a good veteran team, good all-around effort by Bologna so far. There's still a lot of time left in the game, but providing nothing untoward's happen and they keep the ball in that gentleman's hands right there, Mr. Richardson, they should win the game.
Beautiful play again. The lead down to 9. 3 minutes left. Provided they can keep the mistakes away, they surely are there.
And I really can't say enough about Caldebella and how well he's played under the situation.
Richardson still trying the fancy stuff, and they can't afford that.
I think he was forced into that. The 30-second clock was running down. And Bologna changes into a 1-3-1.
Did you see the hands there from Richardson? He finishes it off, but did you see how he started it?
Great hands, great steal, and he finishes it off. That's why in the NBA they used to say he had the fastest hands in the West. Great hands by Johnson.
Beautiful defense. And that has clinched it surely. 2 minutes left, and here is Richardson again. But he doesn't want the fancy stuff now. He's doing the sensibles thing and running the clock down. Caldabella. No points, I don't think. Foul before the shot.
Offensive foul against Caldabella. Offensive charge, no basket. Good call by Rigas, the Greek referee.
His fourth, but he's done enough now. Anderson. Rare mistake from Frederick, but they're making so many mistakes now. I think the concentration has gone.
That's right. They've worked so hard on defense, and I think Bologna has basically worn them down physically.
Into the last 2 minutes, and still Richardson has the ball, as he has for so much of the game.
Great pass. Great shot by Clement Johnson. The two veterans taking the game over down the stretch. Ooh, looked like a charge to me on that one.
But if that wasn't, I don't know what it is.
I don't want to see a charge if it was. And Caldabella fouls out. What a great job. Take a look at this. I tell you, Michael Anderson pushed him 20 feet away from the basket.
But what a contribution Caldabella's made. And listen to the crowd as Richardson gives them even more.
I think the referees are trying to calm it down, knowing that in Italy, when you excite the crowd like that,
there they are.
All kinds of funny things will happen.
There's not many in their seats now. They've come right down by the court. And we just hope that this game can be finished. There's a danger, obviously. They've been thirsting for success for so long. And now, look, they're practically on the court playing.
I'm sure Michael Anderson's pretty disappointed with the performance of Real Madrid just now. He's played his heart out, but he's had a difficult job tonight. He's had to guard, you know, an NBA All-Star.
Anderson on the 1-on-1 there. Because Bologna are on 17 fouls, so he had to get the first shot away to get a second shot. Doesn't get it, but gets the ball again.
Ramboli comes in and he fouls Anderson. But it goes back to what we said earlier, Simon. The missed free throws have certainly hurt Real Madrid down the stretch.
Torre Messina just making sure.
Another missed foul shot.
Just cannot afford it. They get a second bite at the cherry. Here's Martin.
Good shot, 3 points.
Lead back to 11. But much too much. Oh, that was a real heavy foul. The foul by Anderson on Richardson, and it showed the frustration, and that did as well.
Certainly did, but Anderson, I mean, Michael Ray Richardson's doing a good job. He's getting the ball up the floor. He's played the point guard in the NBA for many years. He knows exactly what to do in these situations.
Here he is again.
Oh, dipsy-do. Great move.
Now that's worth $500,000.
That was worth $500,000. No question about that one. Anderson from long distance. He gets it 3.
But the Richardson move was one to savor. Perhaps the best of the match so far. And Ramboli showing his skills. Just holding on, running down that clock. And it's getting pretty physical, and Anderson particularly looks very frustrated.
I think when Michael Ray Richardson was younger, he would have dunked that under the basket move. What a move, though. This time in the game, there's the foul. I think Anderson trying to get an early start on Bologna's jerseys on the exchange.
Here's Richardson. Oh, that's a terrible foul there on Richardson. Now Laurenti, it looked like Richardson aimed a punch at him. He got caught in the eye himself, as you can see. But he followed him down court, and he was lucky he missed.
Take a look at this. Left hand, oh, he missed. This looks a bit more like Tyson Douglas.
And Ettore Messina not exactly calming things down.
They've got to keep Richardson in the game, though, but he got away with one there, that's for sure.
Bon. And there's not much basketball being played at the moment. A lot of passion.
And Richardson makes a great play there. Great steal, and they get the ball back.
And I think the concentration has gone on both sides.
Well, look at all those people standing around. Kind of difficult to concentrate with, you know, 7,000 excited folk. Clement Johnson says to the little guy, get out of here with that.
Takes the foul, but there was no way Anderson was going to score on that shot. Clement Johnson, who has been in the top flight since 1978 when he played for Portland. Then went on to Indiana, Philadelphia, and then Seattle. This is a big time for him.
Yeah, he won a world championship behind Moses Malone at Philadelphia. You know, he's been there before. And Michael Anderson just came by a free throw right now.
No, it's back to basics. If they'd got the basics right, they would have been a much closer game. I don't think they ever were going to beat Bologna, but they made quite a few mistakes. 60% from the free throw line, just a bit more now. And still very physical in these last few seconds. And the two number 14s really having a go at each other. Frederick for Real, Gallinari for Bologna. What a moment for Ettore Messina and for his club. Into the last 10 seconds. And the body checking goes on.
There's a two from Anderson. And another little scrap. I think Mr. Frederick is a bit frustrated.
Yeah, the two 14s don't like each other.
And there they are. The two dogs are barking again. Nobody wants to bite. They're just barking. A lot of finger pointing.
You know a bit about that, Elton.
You know it. That's the great thing about basketball, Simon. It becomes a round of diplomacy and negotiations after that. After all the arguing and finger pointing.
It's just a 5-point game, but look at the result and look at the reaction from the crowd. They've waited so long for this. Thoroughly deserved it.
Thoroughly deserved. But look at this. That, folks, is what basketball is all about. A happy family atmosphere here.
But they've beaten one of the greatest clubs in the world, certainly the greatest in Europe, Real Madrid. They've been in 18 European finals, Real, more than any other team. But they've been beaten here in Italy by Knorr Bologna, who before this had never won a European competition. A fantastic night for them, one they'll savor for many, many years, particularly Sugar Ray Richardson. What a comeback he's made into the top flight. So Bologna, Cup Winners' Cup champions of 1990. There's the contribution, but so much more than that from Coldebella. 16 points. Sugar Ray Richardson, the hero, with 29. But now from Alton Bird and me, Simon Reed, goodbye from a very excited Florence.